Revealed, how one inspiring black CEO's courage at a yacht party uncovered amazing injustice. Mia Johnson stepped onto the plush deck of the yacht, the city skyline shimmering like diamonds in the night. As the CEO of a rising tech startup, she had arrived at a pinnacle of success that many only dream of. But instead of feeling elated, a heavy knot formed in her stomach. Laughter and clinking glasses surrounded her like a discordant melody. The guests, decked out in designer clothes, flaunted wealth while she felt the weight of her past slipping through her fingers, her mother's double shifts, her father's unwavering determination. Their struggles vibrated in her chest. She turned to the railing, the cool breeze biting at her cheeks, and gasped. Just beyond the boat, in the shadows cast by the looming skyscrapers, a group of dock workers struggled to load crates onto aging trucks. Their hands were roughened by years of labor, and their faces wore lines etched by hardship. Who cared about their stories? The yacht pulsed with joy, while these men and women were drowning in silence. Mia's heart tightened painfully. Back home, her parents worked long hours to make ends meet. Their sacrifices were nothing compared to this extravagant celebration. As she forced herself back to the party, conversations of privilege wrapped around her like a chokehold. A businessman chuckled about those people and gasped in mock horror at the thought of fair wages. Mia's jaw clenched. How could they be so blind? The laughter felt like daggers, and frustration bubbled inside her. She took a deep breath, feeling memories of her fifth-grade teacher, who taught her the value of standing up, wash over her. With a surge of courage, she stepped forward, her voice strong but shaky. We need to recognize the people behind the products we enjoy, the workers who serve us, who deserve fair treatment. There were nods, half-hearted ones, but many turned their backs. Oh please, here we go, one scoffed, rolling his eyes. Disappointment flooded her, but that was it. She would not back down. She grabbed a pen, scribbling an invitation to a community event, weaving tales of the dock workers into her own journey of leadership. They deserve to be seen, to be heard. Just then, an older gentleman stepped forward, tears glistening in his eyes. I was once them, he said, his voice quaking. I lost a job because of my name. I was denied opportunity. The room fell silent. Hope flickered, but doubt lingered like a thick fog. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The atmosphere shifted, tension crackled like static. Mia felt the room breathe, a collective pulse of empathy emerging in the silence. But would this moment lead to real change? As arguments ignited among the guests, debates about privilege, merit, and the definition of success, Mia stood at the crossroads of hope and uncertainty. Her chest rose and fell, the weight of responsibility pushing down harder. Looking toward the older man, their eyes locked in a moment of understanding, Mia wondered, are we ready to face the truth? The city lights glittered brightly above, shimmering with promises of change and the heaviness of what lay ahead. Mia, caught between ambition and justice, took a deep breath, ready to ignite the conversation needed to bridge the divide. But as the night stretched on, the question remained, would anyone be willing to join her fight? Mia felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, the tension in the air palpable. She couldn't ignore the voices arguing around her, voices that echoed the systemic inequalities she had fought against her entire life. What do they know about struggle? She thought bitterly, watching as their faces betrayed an unsettling mix of confusion and indifference. You have to understand, a young woman in a designer dress piped up, her voice dripping with condescension. Those jobs are beneath us. It's all about merit, after all. Mia's heart sank. It was hard to fathom how someone could dismiss the journey of others so casually. Merit? Mia said, her voice rising slightly, laced with disbelief. Merit means nothing if the field isn't level to begin with. A ripple of unease swept through the crowd. The laughter faded, replaced by murmurs as guests exchanged uncertain glances. Mia's heart raced. She felt her cheeks flush, but she pressed on, fueled by the stories of those unseen workers, the grit in their tired eyes. Every product we use, every luxury we enjoy, rests on the backs of those who are often neglected, or worse, silenced. She felt a flood of voices rising in her, echoing the struggles of every individual she had ever known, every sacrifice made. We can't forget the price of our success. The older gentleman stepped closer, and there was something in his eyes: gratitude? Recognition? Mia couldn't tell, but she sensed that he was grappling with the same tumult within. It felt like a tether forming between them, grounding her amidst the chaos. "What's happening here?" he asked, voice steadier now. "Are we really about to change, or are we just going to keep pretending everything is fine?" Mia felt her throat tighten. "I won't allow us to pretend anymore. It's time for us to acknowledge how we got here and why this country remains divided." She scanned the faces around her. Some watched her intently, others still looked skeptical, arms crossed, ready to dismiss her words, but at that moment, the pulse of honesty surged through her veins. "What if I told you that I'm investing in a community project to uplift these workers?" she declared, heartbeat pounding loudly in her ears. "I want to give them a voice, a chance." A few guests shifted uncomfortably. They exchanged whispers, uncertain how to respond to this surge of philanthropy. But she saw a flicker of hope in the eyes of the older man, igniting something deeper in her defined purpose. "Are we in or out?" Mia's voice cut through the tension, a challenge. Everyone in the room became painfully aware of the suffocating silence around them. The room's mood hung in suspension, the energy tense with potential. Some began to nod hesitantly, while others looked away, avoiding the weight of societal accountability. Regret washed over Mia, but with it, an undeniable fire. Perhaps her words had sparked something after all, but as the clock struck midnight and the party continued to blur around them, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Would they truly stand with her or retreat into their comfortable lives? She stood resolute, anxiety curling in her stomach alongside her determination. Would she be able to rally enough support to launch her vision? Or would the yacht's shimmering facade mask the raw realities that needed addressing? The night felt thick with unanswered questions, but Mia knew she couldn't shy away from her truth any longer. In a room filled with laughter, she was ready to make noise that would reverberate long after the celebration ended. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket, an unexpected message that could change everything. What did it say? Mia pulled out her phone, the screen lighting up to reveal a message from Marcus, a contact she hadn't spoken to in ages. The words stared back at her, sending a chill down her spine. "Need to talk. Urgent. It's about the project." Her pulse quickened. The urgency in his tone struck her hard. Marcus was known for digging deep into community issues, and if he was reaching out now, it meant something significant was at stake. She glanced around the room, uncertainty flooding her. Could this night unravel before it could even begin? Setting her jaw, Mia stepped away from the cluster of guests, slipping into a quiet corner. Her heart raced as she typed a quick response, trying to contain her anxiety. "What is going on?" The reply was almost instant: "Meet me. I have info that could change everything for the workers." "It's bad, Mia. We need to act." "On my way." She hurriedly typed back before glancing over her shoulder at the sea of laughter and clinking glasses. Could she really leave now? What about the momentum she had just built? She felt the hope in the air like a delicate thread, ready to be pulled. With a deep breath, she decided it was worth it. If there was a chance to rally more support for her vision, she had to know what Marcus was talking about. As she made her way through the party, the glitzy decorations and the chatter began to blur into a distant echo. Each step felt heavy yet electrifying, her resolve sharpening with every moment. Outside, the cool night air filled her lungs as she scanned the empty parking lot, searching for any sign of Marcus. A few moments later, she spotted him leaning against his car, his expression grave. "Mia," he greeted, urgency lacing his voice. "I didn't know how else to get through to you. I've been hearing things about the project. The way they're going to spin it, the media, it's not good." "What do you mean? What are they planning?" She struggled to keep the tremble out of her voice. "Your backers, some of them are only in it for the optics. They don't care about the workers, they care about the spotlight they can seize from this. The moment they don't like how things are going or think it could tarnish their image, they may pull out." Mia's heart dropped. She could see it now, the shiny facade cracking under pressure, the moment the cameras turned away, and the mistreatment resumed. "What can I do?" "Leverage the connections you have. More than that, you can create a genuine platform. Make it real. These people deserve better than a shallow commitment." His words hung in the air, heavy and hard to digest. "But maybe that's my fault. If I started moving too fast, thinking I could just help." "Don't beat yourself up. You've already lifted the veil. What matters is action now." He stepped closer, eyes fierce with determination. "You've got to make it clear what's at stake. This isn't just about funding, it's about lives." Mia felt the fire reignite within her. "You're right. I won't let them use this for their gain. We need to be the voice they can trust." A new resolve washed over her, you could almost touch it, electric as it threaded through the air. Just the kind of passion that could ignite real change. "Then let us get to work," Marcus said, a fierce energy shining in his eyes. "But you also need to prepare yourself for the pushback that will come when you challenge their authority." Mia nodded, ready to step into the storm. But just as they began strategizing, a dark figure loomed at the edge of the parking lot, one of the guests from the party, watching them with a calculating gaze. The air thickened with uncertainty as the figure moved closer. "What does he want?" Mia whispered, the apprehension creeping back in, but this was not the time to back down. If they were going to stand strong, they had to face whatever challenge was coming head-on. She straightened, ready to confront what lay ahead. What new battle had she unknowingly stepped into? The night was cracking wide open, and all she could feel was the pull of possibility mixed with the weight of consequences. A storm was brewing just off the horizon. The figure stepped further into the light, revealing a familiar face. It was Jared, one of Mia's supposed allies, but tonight he wore an expression that made her uneasy. His eyes darted between her and Marcus, and Mia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "Mia, we need to talk," Jared said, his tone flat but urgent. "About what?" She shot back, trying to keep her voice steady. Her instincts screamed at her to trust Marcus, not Jared. "About the project, of course. There are things you might not understand," he replied, drawing closer. "It's more complicated than you think." Marcus moved in front of Mia, a protective barrier. "I think she understands enough, Jared. The stakes are higher than you've led her to believe." Jared's lips curled into a slight smile, but it did not reach his eyes. "Believe me, Marcus, I'm just trying to help. There are risks involved if we make any rash decisions. You know that. Is that what you call this? Helping?" Mia demanded, her heart hammering as she searched for any sign of sincerity in his gaze. "What I mean is," Jared pressed, his voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper, "if they see any sign of dissent, they could shut us down. And then what will you have accomplished?" "That's not the way to look at it," Marcus interjected, his determination unwavering. "You think we can sit back and wait while they play these games? People's lives are at stake." Mia's thoughts raced. Half of her wanted to believe Jared had some valid point, the cautious approach might protect the workers. But the other half was already feeling the weight of urgency. What if waiting led to complacency? No, she said, voice steady, we can't let fear dictate our actions. If we don't stand for them now, when will we? Jared sighed, looking between them, frustration etched on his face. You don't get it. It's not fear. It's strategy. You have to think about how to outmaneuver them. That's where you're wrong. Marcus shot back. Thinking has a place, but action speaks louder. Are we really going to let them weaponize our compassion? Jared's expression hardened, tension rising in the chilly night air. You're being reckless. And when this all blows up in your face, don't say I didn't warn you. Before Mia could respond, Jared turned sharply, walking away. A chill washed over her. Was he a friend or a foe in disguise? The words he said lingered in her mind, spinning in a vortex of doubt. Forget him, Marcus said, his voice steady. He's trying to play both sides. What matters is that you know your heart is in the right place. Mia nodded slowly, but the uncertainty lurked like a shadow in the back of her mind. Let us focus on what we can do next, he continued, his eyes lit with resolve. We need to start reaching out, gathering stories from the workers. Make this real. Make the media listen. As the plan took shape, the air grew dense with purpose. But in the depths of Mia's thoughts, Jared's warning echoed ominously. What if, in their eagerness, they were overlooking something critical? The sound of footsteps caught her attention. Jared was back, but this time, he was not alone. Two other men, clad in sharp suits, accompanied him, their faces serious and intent. You'll want to listen to this, Mia, Jared said, his voice sharper than before. The atmosphere shifted, thick with impending tension. Mia could feel it, the stakes were escalating. This wasn't just about a project anymore, it was about survival and standing ground against an unseen threat. What now? She muttered, desperately scanning Marcus's face for answers. As the confrontation loomed ahead, Mia's heart raced. She knew one thing for certain, she had to dig deeper. This was only beginning, and the real fight for justice had yet to unfold. What was Jared really after, and would Mia have the strength to uncover the truth before it was too late? Mia's gaze flicked to the two men standing beside Jared. They radiated authority, their suits sharp and their demeanor intimidating. She felt a flush of anxiety, her heart pounding against her ribcage like a drum. Marcus shifted beside her, muscles tense, ready for whatever was about to unfold. Jared, one of the newcomers said, his voice low and heavy, let us not waste any time. We both know this is serious. What do you want? Mia challenged, a tremor in her voice that she tried to mask. She stepped closer to Marcus, seeking reassurance in his presence. Jared cleared his throat, his amused expression fading. We have concerns. Concerns about your little project and the narrative you're trying to shape. Mia felt her blood run cold. You mean the truth? The truth can be a liability, the other suited man interjected, his gaze unyielding. The higher-ups would prefer that certain details remain undisclosed. What details? Marcus asked, stepping forward defiantly. Because if there is something that could hurt those workers. It's not just their lives at stake, it's our entire operation, Jared interrupted, his tone sharper than before. You think this is just about the workers? You need to understand the whole picture. You don't want to get in over your head. Mia swallowed hard, trying to process his words. The reality of the situation felt heavier than ever. Was Jared trying to protect them, or was it a veiled threat? Look, Marcus said, his voice strong but edged with worry. We can't let fear stop us from doing what's right. We owe it to those families who are counting on us. The expression on Jared's face twisted into something almost sympathetic or maybe pitying. And you think they care? All it takes is one spark in this volatile atmosphere. They'll shut you down before you even get started. Mia looked at Marcus, their eyes meeting with determination. We can't just sit back and allow them to intimidate us, she said, her voice strengthening. We need to expose this industry for what it really is. Exposing the industry? One of the suited men smirked. That's cute, but naive. How do you plan to do that while keeping your own interests safe? Stop! Marcus shouted, slicing through the tension. This isn't about threats or interests. This is about human lives. You can't put a price on that. Mia's breath hitched as dread settled in her gut. She realized she could feel the ground shifting beneath her, the reality morphing into something unrecognizable. Could they really take on this powerful tide? Were they strong enough to swim against it? Your timing is poor, Mia, Jared said, his voice lowering as if trying to reason with her. This could end badly for everyone involved if you don't pull back. Mia could see the sincerity in Marcus's stormy eyes. They were in this together, come what may. She wouldn't waver now, despite Jared's intimidation. We won't back down, she declared, her voice unwavering. You may think you can scare us into silence, but we will fight for those who can't. Let them see what the truth really looks like. The air crackled with unresolved tension, and Mia felt a rush of adrenaline, a resolute fire igniting in her chest. This was their stand. Their battle. As the three men turned, their expressions unreadable, she knew they were standing at the precipice of something monumental. But behind her conviction lay an unshakable fear. What if they underestimated their adversaries? What if they became the very victims they swore to protect? As the men walked away, the silence felt deafening, filled with unspoken promises and looming shadows. Mia glanced up at Marcus, both of them aware that the next steps they took could lead to uncharted waters. What other dangers awaited them, and could they gather the strength to face whatever was lurking just beyond the horizon? Mia and Marcus stood in the fading light, the weight of their confrontation still heavy in the air. The stillness around them wrapped like a cloak, and the sound of nearby traffic became a distant hum. Mia's fingers grazed Marcus's arm, feeling the strength beneath the skin, but doubt clawed at her insides. What now? Marcus asked, his brow furrowing as he scanned their surroundings. We have to meet with the workers, she replied, her voice determined despite the flutter of apprehension. They need to know what's happening. Marcus nodded, but she could see his uncertainty. They'll be scared. What if they don't want to join us? Or worse, what if they agree with Jared's side? A rush of cold air swept through the alley, making Mia shiver. But she couldn't let fear dictate their actions. We can't control what they think, but we can show them the truth. They deserve to know. As they made their way to the small warehouse where the workers gathered, each footfall echoed the urgency in Mia's heart. It was time to reclaim their narrative and give others the courage to stand up. Inside the dimly lit warehouse, whispers filled the space, mixing with the scent of metal and worn-out machinery. Groups of tired faces turned toward Mia and Marcus as they entered, expressions heavy with uncertainty. Hey, everyone, Mia started, her voice steady even as her pulse raced, we need to talk about something serious. A murmur swept through the crowd, eyes darting between them, searching for a hint of what was to come. We just met with Jared, Marcus interjected, his voice rising to meet the tension in the room, and his associates. They want to silence us, silence you. They think we'll back off if they threaten us. But we can't. We have to fight for what we deserve. The crowd seemed to shift, hope clinging to the air like the dust motes swirling in the dim light. Are you with us? Mia asked, her eyes locking onto a woman she recognized, someone who had spoken about her family's struggles at work. We can't let fear hold us back. One man stepped forward, fists clenched. What can we do? They're too powerful. They'll crush us. The words hung in the air, laden with gravity. Mia felt her heart sink for a moment. But then, her voice broke through the doubt, lighter and more resolute. Exactly. They're counting on our fear. What if we stood together? What if we shared our stories? We can make them listen. Murmurs turned into a buzz, as faces brightened with the flicker of courage. The woman Mia spotted earlier stepped forward, her voice shaking yet filled with fire. "You're right. We have to show them that we're not afraid. We have families who depend on this." The room pulsed with renewed energy. Mia exchanged glances with Marcus, both of them knowing they were not alone anymore. They were building a team, one heartbeat at a time. Just as the energy hit a peak, the warehouse door swung open violently. A figure in dark clothing stood at the entrance, silhouetted against the bright outside. Instinctively, Mia's heart raced again. "Don't do anything stupid," the figure spat, revealing themselves to be one of Jared's men, a menacing grin stretched across his face. "You've made a big mistake." Panic shivered through the crowd. Mia braced herself, ready to defend the people who had started to believe in their cause. "Is this really how you want to play it?" she shouted, anger surging as fear intertwined. She wouldn't let them intimidate this newfound power, but as the darkness deepened, unease settled back into her stomach. Were they really ready for this showdown? What other threats lurked in the shadows waiting to extinguish their light? The battle was just beginning, and Mia's instinct screamed that the stakes were even higher than she feared. Could they truly forge ahead against such looming danger? Mia's heart pounded in her chest as the warehouse dimmed further with that looming presence at the door. The figure stood tall, arms crossed, eyes glinting with malice. Marcus moved slightly in front of her, protective and fierce, ready to confront the threat. "You're outnumbered," he challenged, voice steady, but Mia caught the slight quiver beneath his bravery. Mia scanned the crowd, their eyes were wide, mouths set in fearful lines. She realized that their resolve was as fragile as a flame in a storm. "We can't let them see us afraid," she whispered urgently to Marcus, feeling the weight of their hopes resting on her shoulders. "We have to show them we won't back down." "Yeah." A voice called from the back. It was the woman who had first spoken up, her expression now fierce. "This is our place. They don't belong here." The crowd began to pull together, gaining strength from each other's presence, but Mia squinted past the outside light into the face of Jared's man who still loomed. "Enough of this," the man sneered, taking a step forward. "You think you can change anything? Jared's plans are in motion, and there's nothing you can do about it." Mia felt a shiver crawl down her spine, but she couldn't allow it to freeze her. "You don't know us," she shouted back, steadier this time. "We're not going to roll over and let you take everything from us without a fight. We have families, jobs, lives, things worth saving." The man laughed, a sharp, cruel sound. "Families? Jobs? You're all too afraid to lose what little you have. You really think you're strong? Let me prove you wrong." Marcus stepped forward with renewed energy. The challenge in his voice resonated, sparking a flame inside Mia as she bolstered his strength. "Together, we're stronger than you think. We're not walking away this time." The dark figure paused, surprised as murmurs erupted from the crowd, anger transforming fear into something else entirely. "Look around you. We're not alone anymore." Mia continued, her voice rising, filled with the fiery passion she felt deep within. "This is the start of our resistance, our unity. When one of us rises, we all do. Now get out." Someone shouted in the back, their voice echoing the surge of courage sweeping through the crowd. Mia could see Jared's man's smugness fading, glancing nervously at the swelling tide of determined souls surrounding him. The resolve filled the air, tangible and electric. She could feel it in her bones, the shift from fear to action. With a final glance into the faces before her, Mia took a deep breath. "If you think you can intimidate us, try. But know this, we will not be silenced, nor broken." The crowd erupted, a chorus of voices echoing solidarity. With the pressure mounting, the man took a step back, losing his edge. "This isn't over," he spat, backing away towards the door. "You'll regret this." And with that, he disappeared into the shadows, leaving the warehouse heavy with both excitement and uncertainty. Mia felt a whirlwind of emotions: relief, triumph, and simmering anxiety. "Did we just?" she began, looking at Marcus, her heart racing. "We did," he breathed, a grin breaking across his face. "But what happens next? We need to prepare." Suddenly aware of the journey ahead, Mia's heart sank a little. Could they really withstand this storm? As the crowd began to discuss their next steps, a chill coursed through Mia, a whisper of doubt in the vastness of their ambition. They had ignited something powerful, but could they keep it burning through the storm that was sure to come? "Let us organize. We need a plan," she urged, feeling the flicker of fear merge with hope. What awaited them as they stepped further into unknown territory? The next battle was upon them, and it was anyone's guess what darkness might reveal. Mia felt the weight of the moment settle around her like a heavy fog. The crowd buzzed with energy, yet beneath it all was a current of uncertainty, raw and electric. She turned to Marcus, hoping he would share some of that spark. "What do we do first?" she asked, her voice a strained whisper. He looked around at the gathered faces, each one desperate for direction. "We need to find a way to connect with everyone. It starts with us, right here." Mia nodded but felt her throat tighten as the enormity of their task sank in. "We can't just fight. We need to plan. We need to gather information about Jared and his operation." "I can dig into some contacts," Marcus suggested, determination flickering in his eyes. "Good," Mia encouraged, feeling momentum start to build. "And we need to organize meetings, get each section of the community involved. We have to show that we're not just a group of scared people. We're a united front." As she spoke, the crowd drew closer, ears perked up, hearts leaning in. A few voices chimed in, sparking ideas for reaching out to neighbors and trusted friends. Anxiety was replaced by something more hopeful: a commitment to act. "We can create a schedule," Mia suggested, her confidence growing. "Regular updates and strategy sessions to keep everyone in the loop. Make flyers. Use social media." Someone else shouted, the urgency of their passion contagious. "Exactly." Mia beamed, her heart racing faster. "We'll inform everyone about Jared's efforts. We need to turn the fear into knowledge. Everyone should know what's at stake." But as the excitement swelled, Mia felt a familiar chill creep down her spine. What if they couldn't pull it off? What if they stepped too far, only to have it all crumble? Doubt circled, but she pushed it back, focusing on the flickering flame ignited by their earlier confrontation. The night wore on, plans being formed and reshaped, discussions branching out to the wider community. Mia felt a bond growing among them, a shared commitment that transcended individual fears. Then, amid the chaos, she turned around and spotted a familiar figure slipping in through the back door: an old friend, Sarah. Mia's heart leaped. "Sarah!" She rushed over, welcoming her with a tight hug. "I didn't think you'd come. I heard there was a gathering, and I had to see for myself," Sarah said, curiosity and concern mingling in her voice. "I thought Jared's guys would be here." "You need to be careful, Mia." "I know," Mia said, trying to smile despite the weight of her fear pressing down on her. "But we're ready to stand together. We're going to fight back." Their moment of reconnection felt powerful, yet Mia could see Sarah's eyes darting across the room, assessing every movement, every whisper. A small voice inside warned Mia that they were only scratching the surface of the challenges ahead. As the meeting continued, talk turned to resource allocation: food, shelter, and how to rally people to their cause. But the specter of Jared loomed large over their plans, like a storm cloud on the horizon. Then, in the midst of such determination, a loud crash echoed from outside the warehouse, drawing everyone's attention. Mia's heart leaped into her throat. What was that? Panic surged through the crowd, faces paling. "Stay calm," Marcus called, stepping forward, but his voice wavered. Mia's gut twisted with fear. They'd already faced their first confrontation, but could they endure an attack? With adrenaline pulsing through her veins, she brushed aside her uncertainty. There was only one way to find out what waited beyond those doors, Marcus, she said, determination flooding her voice. We need to see what's happening. What had come knocking at their door now? And would their new unity hold as they faced the unknown? Mia pushed through the crowd, her heart racing. The air thickened with tension as anticipation twisted inside her. What could it be? A protest? A fight? Or maybe something worse? Marcus followed closely, his jaw set, eyes narrowed. They reached the dingy warehouse door, which swung slightly ajar, creaking like an ancient relic. Mia held her breath and opened it wider, half expecting a flurry of chaos to greet them. Outside, the scene was stark. A small group stood huddled together, and just beyond them lay a broken crate, its contents spilled across the ground. Boxes of what looked like supplies, food, maybe? Flashes of orange and green among the wreckage caught Mia's eye, a kaleidoscope of panic and urgency. What happened? Marcus called out. A voice rose above the murmurs. It was Jake, one of the local volunteers. They were trying to steal our supplies. We caught them in the act. Mia's heart sank. Who's doing this? Jared's guys, he said, voice trembling with urgency. They showed up, a couple of them, acting like they wanted to help. Then they tried to grab the boxes and split. Mia's mouth went dry. The desperation in the community was evident. People were struggling, and Jared's people were exploiting that fear. She felt anger boil within her. This wasn't just about fighting back. It was also about protecting what they were building together. As Mia surveyed the scene, she spotted someone lurking at the edges of the group. A face that was all too familiar, even in the shadows. Evan. She hadn't seen him in ages, not since the last time they had crossed paths, fraught with complications and misunderstandings. When Evan recognized her, he stepped forward, his face grim. Mia, I didn't know you were involved. You need to be careful. Jared will stop at nothing. I know, she replied, bitterness creeping into her voice. But we're not backing down. Marcus stepped closer to Evan, his frustration palpable. Do you know what their next move is? We can't afford to wait for them to strike again. Evan hesitated, glancing back toward the chaotic scene. There's been talk Jared's organizing something big. He's looking to make an example of anyone who stands in his way. Mia's stomach dropped. Uncertainty swirled, creeping back in with each word. What kind of example? Fists clenched, she wrestled the fear back with resolve. This was more than a political standoff, it was personal. Every single person in their community had a stake in standing together, fighting against intimidation and acute injustice. Suddenly, a loud shout shattered the moment, drawing everyone's attention back to the cluster of people gathered around the crates. We can't just let them take what belongs to us. Mia stepped forward, feeling the fervor in the crowd. We fight together. We reclaim what's rightfully ours. The sounds of their united voices echoed down the street, a chorus rallying against the cold grip of fear that hung over them, yet as that sentiment solidified in her chest, a nagging doubt persisted. How much were they willing to sacrifice? She turned to Marcus, who nodded vigorously, fire in his eyes. This was their moment to steer the ship, but what course would they choose? Just then, a figure approached from afar. Tall, broad-shouldered, and cloaked in confidence, it was the last person Mia expected to see. Hope and dread tangled within her gut. Is this the fight I've heard about? Jared asked, stepping forward, a sly smile creeping across his face. What was his game? And could they stand strong against it? Mia steeled herself, the real battle was only just beginning. The storm was upon them. The moment Jared entered, an uneasy silence swept through the crowd. His smirk seemed to ripple through the air like a wave of doubt. Mia felt the weight of every gaze, every heart, focusing on the confrontation about to unfold. She steadied herself against the wall, breaths shallow and heartbeat racing. "Nice to see so many familiar faces," Jared purred, his voice dripping with mockery. "You certainly picked an interesting way to organize yourselves, but let us be clear, you're playing with fire. Don't threaten us." Mia shot back, a fierce fire igniting within her. "This isn't a game. You don't intimidate us any longer." Each word struck like a hammer, firm and unwavering. Behind her, she could sense the crowd shifting, their energy catching flame. "Intimidation? No, sweetie, this is just business," Jared replied with a laugh, his eyes gleaming like shards of glass. "Dare I say, a little reality check never hurt anyone. You're a mayor without the town, my dear." Mia's fists clenched, but she held her ground. "And you're just a shadow trying to scare people into submission. We're not backing down. Not now, not ever." She turned to the group, eyes blazing. "This is our moment to take back what's ours. We will not be silenced by threats." Behind her, voices began to rise, echoing her sentiment. "We believe in our strength." Someone shouted. "This is our community." Mia felt a rush of warmth as solidarity enveloped her. They were ready to fight back. Jared's eyes narrowed, surveying the scene, and for a split second, uncertainty flickered behind his confident facade. "You really think they will support you?" he scoffed. "You're a fool if you believe they risk their livelihoods for a false cause." But the doubt didn't take. "They've already taken enough from us, Jared." The woman with the fierce voice shouted from the crowd. "We have families to feed." The statement echoed, and murmurs of agreement surged like a wave. Jared stepped closer, his demeanor hardened. "Listen, this isn't over. You think you can just reclaim what has been taken? You're naive." "You're right about one thing," Mia said, her voice steady. "We are fighting for something true. For the people who've been discarded, ignored, and forgotten. And let me tell you, those people are tired of sitting quietly." A tense hush lulled over them, then building to an uproar of support. It felt like a dam had burst, the crowd surging with voices of defiance. "Enough of this!" Jared shouted, the calm facade crumbling into fury. "You will regret crossing me." He turned sharply, signaling his associates to back him up. "One way or another, you'll be silenced." As he stepped back into the shadows, Mia felt the weight of disappointment at first. But then she turned to her community. An army of resilience was emerging. "Did you hear that? He fears us." "Yeah." Someone roared. "This is just the beginning. Let us show him that we're not afraid of his threats." She felt her heart swell with hope. It wasn't just about fighting for rights, it was about showing that they mattered, that their voices were not only heard but celebrated. With a new fire igniting within her, Mia called out, "Let us plan a meeting. Together, we address the outside world. We tell them our stories, the truth, not just the glazed-over finances or the sugarcoating. We need the media there, we need the support. Let us reclaim our narrative." A roaring consensus echoed through the warehouse, building momentum. "We will take back what's ours." Someone shouted. "We'll stand together before and after whatever Jared has planned." Mia glanced at Marcus, his eyes danced with pride and determination. They had awakened something powerful, something unstoppable. As the crowd huddled closer together, each person filled with purpose, Mia closed her eyes briefly. She felt a bond forming, a collective heartbeat, their shared struggle weaving them together, but deep down, the storm still rumbled in her chest with a hint of worry. What would be the sign of Jared's next move? They planned to fight together, unyielding and brave. And yet, with every rising hope, she knew a challenge lay just outside the doors waiting to strike. The night held its breath, shadows lurking at the horizon of their future. It was time to step into that light. Let us get to work. With each word that followed, Mia felt the determination of her community lit with fervor. Together, they would shine brighter than the city skyline that sparkled beyond the walls, a testament to their resilience. As they moved forward into the fight, a wave of electric emotion surged through her. They were a force to be reckoned with. And as Jared's words echoed in her mind, "You'll regret this," Mia smiled into the unknown. Because she wouldn't let fear dictate her actions again, they were ready to take the battle for justice into their own hands. They would change their world, one story at a time, and now, it was all about to begin. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share.